Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of the All Things Leeds Podcast, of the ATL Podcast. You probably will recognise my voice if you do watch the All Things Leeds YouTube videos, if you are a long-time listener. I am Ed, the founder and creator of All Things Leeds, if you will. Please say that I'm not alone either. I am joined by Mr. Charles Foster. How are you, Charles?
I'm very good, Ed. How are you?
I'm not bad, and we'll get to know a bit about you very shortly, let you introduce yourself and everything. But we will be going over all the talking points about Leeds United. We'll be discussing their 2-0 win against Bristol City at Elland Road. That was on Saturday, and then we'll be going over their 1-0 win over Reading on Tuesday night. That was at Elland Road as well. We'll then go over some of the big news stories that have come out of Elland Road, such as the Australia trip. Leeds United, of course, announcing their second fixture of the Australia trip next summer. We'll also be discussing the Under-23s game on Monday. Then we'll be previewing the Leeds game this Saturday as the Whites travel to Bramall Lane to take on Sheffield Wednesday. Please do stay with us. Well, I think first of all, as this is the first episode, we should introduce ourselves. So you probably do know me if you are a viewer of All Things Leeds, the YouTube channel. If not, then I am Ed McIntyre, at Ed_McIntyre98 on Twitter. If you want to follow me, be plugging myself there. And we are recording this in the Leeds University radio studio as well. So thank you very much to them for letting us use the studio. We will be in here every week. We'll be recording podcasts around Christmas time because the uni won't be open, but then for the second part of the season after New Year, then we'll be back with these podcasts. But I've been supporting Leeds. I'm not going to say it all my life because I haven't, and that's a bit of a cliche. Everyone always says that they've been supporting Leeds all of their life. I haven't. I started really supporting Leeds back in 2008 time when we were back in League One. So I'm a proper Leeds fan here. I'm not a glorious supporter. I didn't just start supporting us because we were in Champions League semi-final in 2002. I started supporting Leeds back in League One. Don't really know why I started supporting Leeds. We
had some good players, to be fair. There were some good players in that team.
Yeah, we had some decent players in League One. I mean, Beckford,
Howson, Becchio, Snodgrass, Gradle.
Yeah, I mean, if we still had that team, we'd probably be in the Premier League right now.
They all went on to have decent careers.
Yeah, they all went on to have fantastic careers. But Beckford, some memories there from League One. His goal against Spurs, goal at Old Trafford, his goal to send us up. I
think he got 85-ish goals and about 120 appearances. Did Jermaine Beckford? That's a phenomenal return.
It was a good play, and I kind of miss the League One days. Playing against the...
Because that's just because we used to win every week.
Playing some crap teams in League One.
We just used to do Yeovil over 4-0 every season. It was just...
It's pretty easy for Leeds. But yeah, so I've been supporting Leeds for that long, and mad Leeds United fan I am. And of course I created the All Things Leeds, the brand, the YouTube channel. First started out as a YouTube channel, and now I've done an official relaunch. Now the podcast is out. This is, of course, the first episode. Thank you very much for listening, if you are listening. If you have been subscribed, and then thank you very much for supporting me. I will be trying to step it up. Social media, I've been doing a lot of that. I don't know if you've been following, but so that's me, Charles. I'll let you introduce yourself. And how long have you been supporting Leeds?
Well, I've been going to Leeds games since I was about, I think, 7. I went to the first Leeds game, but my first proper memories of being a Leeds fan were around about the same time as you were stating, the League One days. I remember vividly being Becchio being my favourite player for ages because he was just a great player, and everyone loved Beckford for the Man United goal. But I love Becchio because he never used to score. Apart from that one at Middlesbrough, he never used to score brilliant goals, but he was always chipping in with quite a few goals. You could always rely on him to consistently deliver, and he was always setting up Beckford as well. He was always nodding them down. I just liked him as a player.
I was a big fan of Snodgrass, me, back in.
I did like Snodgrass. Yeah. It was a bit like Hernandez Snodgrass in the way that
good for the division that
he was too good, but he never used to beat people with pace ever. Did Snodgrass? No. He used to drop the shoulder, skill them, get round them. That was kind of his way, and then with the ball in.
Yeah. I mean, I found Beckford, all the goals that he scored, excellent, but he was a frustrating player to watch,
Yeah, sometimes.
Quite a lot of times didn't really, he didn't really do as much, but then came up with winners, of course.
His attitude wasn't always brilliant as well.
No, it wasn't. And then when Beckford left, and we lost all our good players, then Becchio became my favourite player. And then,
I think we had Becchio for at least another season after Beckford left.
Yeah, and then he leaves to Norwich. We get Steve Morrison in
return. He still regrets that.
I mean, you see on social media.
I tweeted on one of his tweets, no one regrets leaving Leeds more than Luciano Becchio. And he liked the tweet.
Yeah, he regrets leaving Leeds because when he went to Norwich, he barely made 2 appearances, I think, and then didn't play
and
again.
Then he went on loan to Rotherham.
And we got Steve Morrison in return, and we all know how that went.
Oh, he's just one of the worst players I've seen in a Leeds shirt. Yeah. He's just awful.
Got his own chant, though. Steve Morrison.
His Leeds career was summed up when he booted that ball out for a throw-in, when he was going for a shot.
That was against Forest, wasn't it, I think?
Oh, shocking.
That was, that's the worst transfer in history. But yeah, why did we start supporting Leeds? Why did you start supporting Leeds when we were in League One? Why did you not go for a Premier League team?
Because my dad was a Leeds fan. He was a massive Leeds fan. He was got to Leeds in the 80s, and he was a season ticket holder. He decided to marry my mum because my mum bought him a season ticket for the season that Leeds won the league in the 91-92 season. And he always said that I think Batty was his favourite player. But he loves Strachan for his genius.
Yeah.
But and then he went to an abroad to Spain and for the Champions League days when I must have been a baby at the time. he left his wife and young son to go to a Champions League quarter final, which I can't really blame the man.
Yeah. I unfortunately didn't go to any of those Champions League games, but I remember my dad always used to take me to Leeds games when he would go with a client. So I always got to know his clients, but I remember half the time I was going in 2004, 2005, 2006. I was so young, but I didn't really care about football, and I spent more time looking at the clock and telling my dad, this amount of time's gone, than actually watching the game. But 2008, 2009, I saw one of my school friends in one of the local pubs. Yeah, met him, and we became really good friends. Started going to a lot more Leeds games with him. Me and my dad, him and his dad. And that really got me into football, my friends, really. Did you have many Leeds fans as friends when you were a kid?
Not when I was younger. I do now. When I got to be about 14, 15, I made quite a whole new bunch of mates going into the last bit of secondary school, going into sixth form. Yeah. And 3 of them are Leeds fans. So
that's the complete opposite for me, because I had so many Leeds fans when I was in primary school, and so many more Leeds fans back when I was in primary school. And now moving to high school, there was a handful. When we left high school, didn't really keep contact with anyone. And then college, no Leeds fans there. A few people would say, ask about how Leeds are doing because they're from Leeds, but they weren't massive fans. There's a few now in uni, but I don't know that many at all. But it was when I was younger, more I had more Leeds fans in primary school, and going to games with them, talking about Leeds in class, that kind of, sprung my love for Leeds, and I got really into football, and now I want to be a sports journalist, and it's amazing how things change.
Yeah, it is nice how life turns out like that.
And I would love to quickly talk about how me and you met as well, because of course I made this YouTube channel, All Things Leeds, and you were actually a subscriber of mine.
I think I was your 4th subscriber.
Yeah, and I remember, I think you were the first person to comment on one of my videos. Because when I saw that first comment, I was buzzing. I was like, oh yeah, someone's actually wanting to communicate with me across YouTube. But then at work, we won't say where we work because we're not allowed. But where we work, there's usually about 200, 300 people working on a night.
Yeah, and it's very unlikely you'll spot anyone you know.
Yeah, and it's very unlikely that you'll work with the same person twice.
Almost never. I think I've.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost never.
Yeah, so it's very annoying to make friends at where we work. But we're at work. I was on a till, on a bar. You can make your conclusions if you want to guess where we worked. But I was on a till in a bar, and you rocked up just slightly late.
I think maybe 5 minutes. It wasn't. Yeah, you exaggerate. It was never more than 5 minutes.
But I mean, it's incredible how you come onto the same bar as me, but then you get put onto the till next to me.
Yeah.
and then you turn around and you say, do you do YouTube?
Yeah, because I recognised you because I watched your videos. So I recognised you immediately, and I thought, nah, I don't know, do I say it or do I just leave it? I thought, but I thought, that may as well say something. We're going to be here for a few hours.
Yeah.
There's another clue for you.
Like, one at best. No, one of me. Good mates, and now we of course season ticket holders together this season.
Yeah, see them every week. Got every Leeds home game, a few away games a year.
Yeah, a few nights out as well. We're looking to.
No.
But yeah, so we are season ticket holders. Of course, we went to the game on Saturday against Bristol City, and we won 2-0 in that game. That nothing really changed in the table. We stayed third, 3 points off top, 3 points off.
Everyone in the top four kind of picked up points. It was
so nothing really changed there. But I mean, 2-0. Satisfied with that?
Yes. Well, I wasn't with the first half. I thought we were fairly poor in the first half. I didn't think we were fast enough or dynamic enough. I think we were. It was a lot of sideways and keep the ball and not really doing much, which it has been kind of sneaking up recently. I've noticed. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Especially in first halves of games, we're just a bit.
We're always slow. I'm fed up with these slow starts. I was saying talking to people next was on Tuesday night, and I was saying, when was the last time we saw a goal down at the south stand? Because Leeds, of course, going down towards the south stand in first half, but we never seem to do anything in first half. We always seem to start slow.
In that game, we were quite fortunate with a certain decision that went our way, but I don't think it's a decision that.
The red card?
Yeah, I don't think the Bristol City could argue with that.
I don't think we were fortunate. There were definitely 2 yellow cards.
No, I'm not saying we were fortunate with the decisions that were made. We were fortunate at how early it happened in the half and how it allowed us to push on.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the best of games.
I think if 11v11, that might have been heading for a 0-0.
Yeah, I think we were discussing that, and like before the red card, it looked like it was going to drag out to being 0-0, and I said that in my match report as well. It looked like we're going to be a 0-0. But if there was going to be a team who would nick the 3 points, it would be Leeds, because it was a poor game. The standard of football was really, really poor, wasn't
it? They were really average. And
surprising, because they've been up there the past few seasons.
One shot on target, and from what I can recall of their shot on target, it wasn't a good one. It wasn't one that forced Huffer, who is a 20-year-old goalkeeper with no senior appearances, into like any kind of fantastic save. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was just like a header from a corner, which he caught immediately, and that was it.
I was surprised with that, because you would have thought they'd do the homework and they'd be like, all right, they've got no goalkeepers. So one young lads will come in for his senior debut. Got no defenders, so one young centre-backs will come in for their senior debut. We've got to challenge them more, but they didn't create anything. They didn't push forward. The only times that they really got challenged was in set pieces when they delivered crossing.
They were trying to win a lot of set pieces, but I thought, with the exception of a couple of dodgy punches early on, I thought Huffer dealt with them very well. There's that one where he claimed it from in the middle of a crowd of giants. It seemed like he got the ball, which was good of him.
Yeah, we'll move on to youngsters shortly, but I mean, overall, it wasn't a fantastic game of football, but if there was going to be a team who would nick it, it would be Leeds, and we of course did nick it. The referee gave a red card. It was 2 yellows for Josh Brownhill,
especially the first one.
But the second challenge as well. If you're on a yellow, you don't put in a challenge.
Yeah, it wasn't actually. I think it was the follow through that got him the card, because he followed through on the back of Roof's ankle and flipped him. You saw it; he fully flipped.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw that, I thought, "There's no way he's staying on here." Someone who wasn't on a yellow card would be getting a yellow card for that.
Yeah, and of course, Roof scored the first goal.
Yeah, he was opportunistic. Like a certain Chris Wood of a couple of seasons back.
Yeah, I mean Pablo Hernandez. Ball went out to the right. It got played back in. Pablo Hernandez went for goal, and I think the keeper would have had it covered, but Roof made sure that he didn't have it covered.
That was getting saved by Hernandez. It wasn't far enough in the corner, and there wasn't enough power on it.
Yeah, it was a weak shot by Hernandez, so Roof, he slotted it in. 8th goal of the season. He's our highest goal scorer.
He's having a good season so far. I mean,
but when you look at it though, when you got your highest goal scorer, he's your striker, he's only scored 8 goals at this point in the season. Pretty shocking.
You say that, but I think we've been quite spread. I think Hernandez has got 6 goals, and it has been fairly spread out. I think Cooper's got 3, the Click's got 5.
Pablo Hernandez, he's got the second, 5 minutes from time. Good finish as well. He reminded me of West Brom, of the goal that was scored at West Brom. He's chips up for him and then a looping header over.
Yeah, it was fairly identical to the goal, actually.
Yeah.
It was Hernandez, for such a I mean, he's not the tallest of blokes, but he can
head a ball.
Yeah, which is more than can be said for Barry Douglas. Let's be honest.
He did have the best of games on Saturday though, but when you get a goal and an assist, you look at the stats and you have to keep him in team. But I mean, you keep him in team anyway because he's one of the most creative players.
At that time, with 10 starts, Pablo Hernandez this season has 6 goals and 5 assists. So
yeah, and of course, Will Huffer and Apo Halm, Will Huffer's English, Apo Halm is Finnish.
Yep.
And they came up for the senior appearances from the youth team, and they both did quite well, didn't they?
Yes, I don't know what I was expecting because I've not seen much of Huffer. I've seen more of his counterpart Majacek in the under-23s.
Yeah.
And I have seen Apo Halm, but every time I've seen Apo Halm in the under-23s, he seems to be quite injury prone. He gets injured quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I was pleased to see that he he got taken off eventually when we were pushing for it, but he had a good game. I remember one point he got out of a really sticky situation. I think he was getting closed down by like 3 players. Yeah, and I think he turned 2 of them and set Cooper off, and immediately you beat the press, and if you beat the press, you're on for a good counter-attacking move. As I've already mentioned with Huffer, I thought he had a good performance. Yeah, with the exception of quite early on, there was maybe a couple of poor touches when he got the ball.
Yeah, I think when he took a touch on the ball, it went about 3 yards in front of him, which is like kind of what you do in under 23s. At this level in Championship, you can't really afford to do that.
No, if you're getting closed down, you might struggle there. Yeah, you see keepers get punished for that.
Yeah, and I was impressed with Huffer. I thought he did quite well. He commanded his area well, which is what I feel was a weakness in Bailey Peacock-Fowles' game. But on Tuesday night, he changed my mind about that. But we'll get on to that. But Will Huffer, he did impress me. Apo Halm looked like a centre back. He's
a big lad, 6'5", I think.
Thought he read the game as quite well as well. And they both looked really comfortable when they have the ball at their feet as well. Will Huffer wasn't afraid to pass out from the back. His distribution looked really good. So Will Huffer, if he has to step in whenever he's called upon, I'm fine with that, and same with Apo Halm.
Although, with regards to the opposition, it was probably the perfect game to have 2 under-23s players in because they weren't troubling us.
Yeah, I mean, Bristol City, one their poor side, 2 they're coming into the game on the back of 3 losses in a row. And they didn't really push onto us. So that was a perfect, team to play against for their senior debuts.
Especially to get back some confidence and form from after a very poor performance, especially in the second half against West Brom. Although I thought we were poor in the first half, we just didn't get punished for it. But yeah, I thought they were back to winning ways important. 6 points in 2 home games. You can't and 2 clean sheets. Those are the things you need at the end of the season.
Yeah, we'll move on to Will Huffer and Halm when we talk about the Tuesday night's game against Reading. But we want to quickly go over Lee Johnson's comments, of course, the Bristol City manager.
Ah, yes.
After the game in the press conference, he said that he felt Leeds were lucky and we got away with it. What do you make of those comments?
Well, it depends what he's referring to. If he's referring to the game as a whole and he's saying that Bristol City deserve to win the game as a whole, I think I don't know what he's talking about there because
all you have to do is look at the stats.
They were, even if you ignore the stats, if you watch the game, they were poor. Yeah. But if he's talking about we were lucky that they had a man sent off at that time, I'd have to maybe agree with him there because we were quite lucky that gave us the opportunity.
I guess we were lucky in that aspect that with the red card, the referee giving us a red card, and that did change the game. But we were the better team. Like, if there was a better team in the game, it would be Leeds, and we created a lot more than them.
Yeah, we were the better team. Just to go back on his comments, he also said after that the referee was he implied the referee was kind of press ganged into making that decision. When any neutral, even Don Goodman, who is about as anti-Leeds as it gets, recognised that was definitely. It was a yellow card foul. He goes through the back of him. You're always going to get a yellow card for that. Yeah,
I think we established that. Definitely 2 yellow cards. Definitely a red card.
Fair decision.
After 2 yellow cards. Fair decision. So, but I guess we were fortunate in that respect, but we're not lucky. No. Because it was a correct decision. I thought Lee Johnson's comments were ludicrous. And all you have to do is look at the stats. We had more possession, more shots than them. We had like about 20 shots. They had 6 or something. We had 6 on target. They had 1 on target. And, we had about 60-odd possession. They had like 37% possession. Just look at the stats, and then who the better team were. And we
were the better team.
If there was going to be a team who would nick the win, it would be Leeds.
We could have had. We realistically could have had more because Barry Douglas forced a very, very good save.
Yeah, that was he almost scored a screamer there. I tell you what, though, it's not looking good for Bristol City, is it? That's now 4 losses in a row. They of course play on Wednesday night. We're recording this on Wednesday morning, so we don't know their score on Wednesday night. But they're going into it, 4 losses in a row, not looking good for them. They got Ipswich away.
It's a perfect game to restore confidence. I remember they were the worst side we played at Elland Road, I think.
Yeah, so Ipswich away, it's not going to be easy for them. But I tell you what, if they don't win that game,
I could see that game in a draw, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I tell you what, if Ipswich, they're bottom of the table. If Bristol City don't beat Ipswich, Lee Johnson, I reckon he'll be going. That's 5 losses in a row, and you look at the teams who they've lost against.
Previously, as a manager, though, he's had manager of Bristol City. He had one stretch, I think, not last year before. He had 8 losses in a row and remained manager. So they've had confidence in him before, but I don't see him bringing it out this time because they sold Flint, didn't they? They've sold
all the best players.
Well, who else did they sell? Joe Bryan, their left back. They sold him to Fulham.
Yeah, they sold all the best players, and it's not looking good for them this season at all. But we move on to Tuesday night's game. Of course, the Leeds United beat Reading 1-0 at Elland Road. But the lineup came out, and I was pretty surprised. Not only did they change a few players, but it changed the entire system. It went to a 4-1-4-1 formation, which is of course what we played at the start of the season. But the personnel, Bailey Peacock-Fowler came in straight. Of course he missed Saturday's game due to a knee injury, but came straight back in for Tuesday and replaced Will Huffer. And I kind of thought it was a bit harsh on Will Huffer.
You say that, but I knew that Reading game was going to be tougher than the Bristol City game.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say before we played him, but definitely while we were watching the Bristol City game, I thought Reading are going to be better than this.
Yeah, I guess because Reading, they play a different way. They play more counter-attacking and a bit faster, but also where they are, they're scrapping for points, and they're trying to pick up as many points as possible, so they will give it to teams.
Yeah. I prefer the 4-1-4-1 system. I think when we play 3 at the back, we get stretched, we get counter-attacked easily.
Yeah, I like the 4-1-4-1.
And we end up with a lot of 3-on-3 scenarios with our defenders and their attackers, which you don't want.
Yeah. I mean, 4-1-4-1 is what we started the season with. It started so well as well. What the players probably know best. So I prefer that. But I thought it was harsh on Will Huffer. He kept a clean sheet the weekend, played quite well. So it's like, award him for his efforts, keep him in the team, don't change him. But because he's a young lad as well. 20 years old, Will Huffer. So taking him out after a clean sheet probably don't do too good for his confidence. But
experience-wise, though, I think BPF was the better choice for
Yeah.
Peacock-Farrell, sorry. I don't want to abbreviate his name.
And I think as well, Peacock-Farrell's confidence, he probably already knocked enough because Bielsa said in his press conference he would have started Blackman if Blackman was still here.
I don't understand why. I mean, I've got massive amounts of respect for Bielsa, but I don't see what his strategy was there.
When I was watching press conference live and he said I would have started Blackman, I knew that something's up with BPF. Otherwise, he's not saying this. If Peacock-Farrell is fit and he's going to play, he wouldn't be saying this. Otherwise, that would just knock his confidence completely. But if he's coming back from injury and he's got a lad called Will Huffer who has only made one senior appearance, stay ahead of him. That would do even worse for his confidence. So put him back in, get his confidence back up, and we'll move on to his penalty save in a second because would have done him a world of good. But of course, he changed the system, which I was surprised about. I thought he would have, stayed with the system. Of course, because we did win. But like I said, changed to a 4-1-4-1. It wasn't a great performance from Leeds, was it?
Not particularly, no. Not especially not in the first half. I thought we got counter-attack quite well. I thought. Yeah,
and again, it's a slow start as well. The first half we always seem to be a bit off.
I thought certain members of the midfield were a bit anonymous. Baker, I didn't think he performed very well at all.
I thought Baker was awful.
When he got robbed I was watching the game. When he got robbed on the halfway line at 40 minutes, and they managed to counter-attack us, and it was just the only reason they didn't score was like an outstanding tackle on the edge of the box by Liam Cooper. You're thinking, you shouldn't be getting robbed on the halfway line.
Yeah,
you've got a lot of options.
Yeah, I thought Baker was the worst midfielder of the game. Adam Forshaw, he didn't have a particularly good game. Not many people had particularly good games. The people who stand out to me is, of course, Bailey Peacock-Farrell, who we'll move on to. Liam Cooper, he was excellent in defence.
He did seem excellent. I was impressed.
Phillips as well, to say that he's just stepped in at centre-back and into a back four. His first game in a back four.
I think we missed him in that defensive midfield role.
Yeah, definitely, because you were stuck, really. You were like, because Adam Forshaw is too good to play defender midfield. I think he needs to play more forward. But Baker in that defensive midfield role, you haven't played many games. I wonder if there's something in his contract where he has to play a certain amount of games. That'll be interesting to look into.
He's not had many appearances.
No,
so.
but Just to stick him in this game, it was a bit.
I also don't think he's a defensive midfielder. He's an attacking midfielder.
Yeah, I mean we have 3 attacking midfielders: Click, Forshaw, and Baker, all better at attacking midfield.
I think you could maybe class Forshaw more as an out centre mid.
Yeah, I mean he commands a middle at park quite well. He does scream at all the other players and stuff. But I mean, sluggish start really. Not a great performance. But we made a few chances, but we missed a big man as a striker. Kemar Roof, I know he's top goal scorer, but I think with another striker in there, we would have scored quite a few more goals, because some of the balls that were put into the box, especially in that first half, were excellent. I
think defensively and defensively we're missing aerial dominance in the team, because we are not a big team, especially when you're missing the likes of Pontus Jansson.
Yeah.
For the amount of if you watch in the games, if you watch the games, silly thing to say, but we use the wings a lot. We are constantly whipping balls in. And we're whipping balls into people like Samuel Saiz, who's 5'6", to Kemar Roof, who's maybe 5'9", and these lads aren't going to win headers against massive championship centre backs.
Mention that with tall players. Apple Halm's quite tall. Again on the starting 11, maybe if you're going to go 4-1-4-1, maybe just stick Apple Halm in the back four along with Cooper, and then Phillips in front of them.
Yeah, an argument could be made for that, and I don't think Bielsa doesn't like to push the youngsters too far. That's been quite evident with Jack Clark not getting a start, and Ryan Edmondson being in and out of the team. He doesn't like to rely on youth and then kind of push him too far and ruin him. He doesn't want to do that. He'd rather ease him in. Yeah, but so I think what did Appelham get 60 minutes? Against Bristol City.
He went off at 60 minutes,
For 60 minutes, it's a good amount of time. It's more than Clark was getting initially, but obviously because as a defender, you will get more time, because defenders don't really get subbed unless they're making mistakes.
I mean, they changed the system on Saturday, really, when he took him off. First half on Tuesday, of course, Alioski, big talking point there. Was it a dive for you?
It was an awful dive. It was horrendous.
Even in the stands, everyone about a few people behind us were saying, "Oh, he want the dive, it was a penalty." And then a few of us around us, we were adamant. He did dive. It was so clear and obvious that it was. But it was the worst dive you see. Alioski got to the ball. He kind of waited like half a second for the player to get to him, and then just fell over. It was the most blatant dive ever.
I initially saw it from a different angle, so I thought there'd been some contact, and I was not pleased with Mike Dean for booking him. But then as they actually showed the replay, it went from a much better angle, because the cam wasn't a brilliant angle from the way I was watching it. It was a blatant. He gets the ball just about, and the defender comes in, and he's waiting for it, but he doesn't seem like he's ready. He's willing to wait enough time for there to actually be contact, so he just makes some of his own. Yeah, but he doesn't. It's any referee worth his salt is noticing that.
Yeah. Mike Dean, of course, he got a lot of stick on Tuesday night, but I think that was because Leeds fans thought it was a penalty and he booked him for diving. But looking back on it as well, correct decision. Yellow card, of course, for simulation. Correct decision, and the big decisions that Mike Dean made, I think he got spot on. With their penalty as well, I think it was a penalty. We will get onto it in a second, but the big decisions that he had to make, he got right. So I felt as though Mike Dean didn't have the worst of games. Some decisions kind of confused me, especially in second half. At one point when Shackleton went on a run, one of their players fell down, and Mike Dean just gave a free kick. If you're not lying, or I think the linesman didn't flag for anything. So a few decisions kind of confused me, but the big decisions he got right. So you need to praise him for that. Going into the second half, we dominated the second half.
I don't know if Bielsa reads Leeds United Twitter, but yeah, certainly made the right decisions in that game.
Yeah, I mean, at half-time, we brought on Samuel Saiz and Jack Clark. He stayed with the same system. Adam Forshaw dropped back. Saiz went into the attacking midfield role, and then Pablo Hernandez, he went on the right. Jack Clark on the right, Pablo Hernandez on the left. Inverted wingers, which is what he did on the 60th minute on a Saturday. He went with inverted wingers, and that works quite well for us, having inverted wingers, doesn't it?
Yeah, we like to cut inside. There's not many players in the team that. I mean, Jack Clark is one of them, but there's not many players in the team that like to burst with pace around the full back and whip a ball in.
I feel as though with inverted wingers as well, we control more of the middle of the park. as well.
We like to keep possession in the middle. It's we're always trying to find Saiz, and he's always in the middle. He's always the one we're trying to find to pick a pass or.
He missed a good chance as well in the second half. Early on in the second half.
Yeah, it was Clark whipped the ball across to him and he volleyed it, didn't it? I think it was a deflection. It got deflected by a defender, didn't it?
Yeah, but he should have got it back in net.
We can say that about quite a few chances.
Yeah, I mean, and then going on to inverted wingers, it gives a chance for fullbacks to go forward more, and that's what Dallas and Douglas like to do.
Dallas likes doing that, but sometimes it's to his detriment because he forgets he's playing at right back and not right wing.
And he doesn't come back, and he doesn't track back, or he's too slow tracking back, and
it does cause us issues.
It causes a few issues last night. I noticed that. Douglas, he got man at match in the end from Sky, but I didn't think he had a brilliant game. Of course, he was involved in the goal.
His set pieces deliveries were all good. They were all. There was one where I think Roof glanced a header, but Roof was offside. But it was a glance header from Roof, and it was a perfect ball in. Offensively, I think he was good. I think defensively, they had a lot of joy down his side.
Yeah,
which is surprising. You'd think they'd have more joy down Dallas's side, but which is what normally happens. But everyone's allowed enough there, even Barry Douglas. Yeah,
I mean, everyone's allowed enough there, but quite a lot of players had enough there on Tuesday. Like I say, the standout for me was Liam Cooper, excellent in defence. Going to the end of the game, we were scrapping for dear life to hang on to 1-0 win, and we did. But Liam Cooper, he was solid. Phillips going into a back four for the first time. What would we make of him?
I think if anyone's a testament to how much Bielsa can improve a player, it has to be Calvin Phillips. I don't think any player has improved as much or been as instrumental as a result of Bielsa putting him in that system as Phillips has been. And there's some doubt as whether there was some doubt whether he could play centre back properly, especially in a back four. But I think with that performance last night, I think he's proved anyone doubting he's a good player. I mean, there's always going to be some that are going to scapegoat him, and that happens a lot with Leeds fans, unfortunately. But he's been playing really well.
He's a future captain for me. I think he's fantastic, and it shows as well. Not only can he play defensive midfielder, but he can play centre back as well. He's the heartbeat of this Leeds United team. I
remember in the Bristol City game. I think it was Forshaw got robbed about 35 yards away from our goal, and within 3 seconds, Calvin Phillips had won the ball back and spread it out to Pablo Hernandez on the wing, and that's exactly what he does.
He's brilliant this season, is Calvin Phillips, and I think at the start of the season, you saw in pre-season, it was like it was clear that Bielsa was going to make Calvin Phillips the main man. People were like, are we really sure about this? But it's paid off, hasn't it?
Well, people thought that Vieira was going to get the nod, and that, but obviously Vieira left the club for financial reasons. But yeah.
Financial reasons for Andrea Ravazani.
Yes, because he wanted
for 7 million.
You can argue that, but it does make a good point. We had spent a lot of money in the transfer window. We don't want to end up like Sheffield Wednesday, where we're getting transfer embargoed. We got 7.7 million, which is a good amount for a Championship club to sell a player. And Vieira, I'm doubtful whether Vieira would have, given how good Phillips is now, I doubt Vieira would have got to this level. If I'm being honest. His range of passing and his passing wasn't brilliant for Vieira, but I've been really impressed with Calvin Phillips, which is hard for me to admit because I was a bit of a Calvin Phillips critic in the past. I think
quite a lot of people were.
I think he was very inconsistent for a few years.
Yeah,
he had games where he was superb, and then he had games where he was definitely the weakest man in midfield. But now he seems to always be one of if not the strongest man in midfield every year, which is amazing. Looking at some of the talent we've got, people say the team's poor and it's Bielsa drilling them up, but I don't think that. I think the team was just a bit devoid of confidence last season. I think we've restored some of that.
Yeah, and Liam Cooper, like I touched on him, he was excellent on Tuesday night, and this season he seems to be so improved under Marcelo Bielsa. A lot of people saying he's League One at best, but now he is a good Championship player now.
Yes, he's got a few goals. He got one against Stoke, one against Preston, I think, and I can't remember what his third one was from, but he's had a good season. I think he's been better than Janssen this season as a centre back, which is surprising because Janssen has. I think when they're both on top form, Janssen's the better player, but I think Cooper's been outstripping him for form for a few weeks now.
Yeah. Their defensive efforts, of course, led went on to finish 1-0 to Leeds. But it wasn't just their defensive efforts; it was the goalkeeper Bailey Peacock-Fowler, his efforts as well. But first of all, their penalty, Douglas brought him down. Clear penalty, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's no arguing with that. I mean, people are saying that Douglas got the ball. If you see from the highlight angle, Douglas does not get the ball. He takes him down, and it's a silly challenge because the most he can do is whip the ball back across, and there's no guarantee that's finding a Reading player. That could easily go out for a throw-in. It could miss everybody. Go out for a goal kick.
Yeah,
I think people say I heard someone describe it as a tired challenge because it was late on in the game. Douglas was just trying to do what he thought was best, but it was definitely a penalty.
Yeah, definitely a penalty. I mean, even looking at the stands from where I sit, and if you want to know where I sit, go on YouTube, All Things Leeds, and look at the clips from the penalty save. Yeah, definitely a penalty. Of course, their man steps up, and I think if this goes in here, it's going right in the bottom left-hand corner. If this goes in, this is the perfect penalty. People calling it the perfect penalty, but Billy Peacock-Fowler. He said it after the game though, like his mindset was, he said after the game, when penalty were called, he was like, this is my chance to prove everyone that, I am good enough to start and I'm going to save this penalty. When you have that mindset, you will save a penalty. So it was, it couldn't have been more into the corner, but Peacock-Fowler got down so well, full stretch to save it, and it was a fantastic save.
Cracking save. The penalty was good, but I think the player was very obvious where he was going to put it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not detracting from the save because even when you know where it's going, you can't always stop it as a goalkeeper. It's sometimes difficult, especially with penalties. But yeah, it was a cracking save.
Yeah, it was brilliant. And, we ended up holding on. It was just, I'm so pleased for Billy Peacock-Fowler as well because his confidence can't be good. Like I said, with Bielsa saying in press conference before Saturday's game that he was going to start Blackman, and then fans criticising him. He can't be good, but now that would have done his confidence a world of good, and I'm just so happy for Peacock-Fowler.
Well, he's a young lad. I mean, people
22.
People are giving Huffer a lot of leeway, but Huffer's only a couple of years younger than Peacock-Fowler. He needs confidence, and that is a problem, and has been a problem in the past with Leeds fans. We have criticised young players and and it doesn't help anybody. No. It doesn't help them. It doesn't help us.
But if it spurs them on to make the effort to try and prove everyone wrong, then surely that's...
Yeah, sometimes that happens, but sometimes you get the J. Roy Grott scenario where they're just broken and have to be shipped off on loan to the Netherlands. Mm. Yeah, I think we need to be more patient, especially with our youth academy products. Yeah, and I think he was poor in the West Brom game and he was poor in the Birmingham game, but he's had some good games too.
He's been poor for since the Birmingham game. For like every other week, he's made quite a few mistakes, but that'll do his confidence a world good, and his game will probably be better for now. He'll be a lot more confident coming out to get balls. I remember at some point on Tuesday, a ball whipped into the box, and that should have been Peacock-Fowler to come out and catch. It should have never gone to their striker, but it did. But now I think he'll be more confident to go out and claim those balls now. But of course, 1-0 win, crucial 3 points. Like I said in my match preview, we needed 3 points, and crucial 3 points. We're now second in the table and 1 point behind Norwich City, because of course Norwich City they drew 0-0 away at Hull City on Tuesday. So Norwich City, surprising with that. A typical championship. You go 6 games winning in a row. You beat Swansea 4-1 away from home, and then you draw 0-0 away at Hull. Typical championship for you, but 1 point off Norwich City. It's looking good for us. We are in a good position, aren't we?
I remember you saying to you after the Bristol City game that we could do with that whole Norwich game being a stalemate Nigel Atkins 0-0 performance. I remember saying those exact words, and that's exactly what it turned out.
It's exactly what it turned out.
Hull, from all accounts, were still they were in the game in the first half, but they came out in the second half and they were putting Norwich under pressure. Norwich didn't have many chances, and the chances they did have were quite wasteful. I think Buendia, I did watch the highlights. Buendia blasted one over the bar. Their best chance of the game, though, they missed a header from 4 yards out, did Norwich. Yeah. And you've got to be burying them, as Barry Douglas well knows.
I'm just going to look at the... So their next few games, I don't think they'll drop many more points. They're home against Rotherham.
That's going to be a win.
On Saturday, and then at home against Bolton the Saturday after. So those are 6 points there, you'd think.
And then there's
away at Bristol, then away to Blackburn and home to Forest. When it gets to the 26th, home to Forest, home to Derby, away at Brentford, away at West Brom, then there'll be hard games. But the next 4 games, home to Rotherham, home to Bolton, away at Bristol, away at Blackburn, you'd expect them to pick up the maximum points there.
You would, but it's the Championship and nothing's guaranteed.
Yeah.
But Rotherham have put some good fights so far. They played well against us in the first half at Elland Road, but we overpowered them a bit. But they've shocked teams before, and they've picked up some good points.
Yeah.
So if Rotherham can keep it tight and not let Norwich have any opportunities, I think they could do what Nigel Atkins did and nick a 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, Norwich, if they keep dropping points, great. I don't think they will, but we're 1 point off Norwich. We can't have done any better. And as long as we keep on picking up points, picking up wins, we're in a good position at the moment. And I'm enjoying watching Leeds. The football that we're playing is superb. Going into the Sheffield United game, I said this in my match preview, and we will go more in depth into the Sheffield United game a bit later, but I said it in my match preview. If we 3 points on Tuesday against Reading, then we can afford to drop points against Sheffield United, which is likely because it is going to be
a tough game.
It is going to be a tough game. But we'll go over a few talking points coming out of Leeds United. We'll go on to the Leeds United under-23s because, of course, they were in action on Monday as they played Sheffield United. Ran out 3-1 winners in the end, and one of those goals, a fantastic strike from Tyler Roberts. But the under-23s, we do seem to have quite some good players in the 23s.
Some good youth. Well, when Rajazani came in, if you notice a lot of the signings that perhaps went under some fans' radar, he made a lot of signings for the under-23s and the under-18s. He bought a lot of players, and some of them like I don't want to pronounce his surname wrong, Temukzov, but he's Bulgarian. He's good central midfielder. Dalby, he signed. Jordan Stevens, he signed from Forest Green. He signed some cracking players. And Ryan Edmondson from York. These players are all kind of pushing for maybe not appearances in the first, for the starting 11, but certainly maybe getting onto the bench every now and again. Especially when we're in the injury crisis we are in currently, they're proving to be invaluable. With 6 out of the 18 against Bristol, I think they were youth academy products, which is outstanding. Yeah. I
mean, we do have. We do have strength and depth, and in the under-23s, the under-23 squad and the youth system is the youth squad is so much better than it has been over recent years, and a lot of credit to Victor Orta for that, because a lot of people were complaining when we were all signing all these under-23s, but they do come useful, as we saw on Saturday with Huffer and Halm. 2 good players, and they came useful. They did quite well, and that's just 2 players out of many in the youth system who are good players. So we do have a lot of strength there, but the under-23s. Quite a lot of first-team players are playing in there, and when they're not injured as well, I understand when they are injured, you bring them up in the 23s, give them game time, get them back match fit. I understand that, but a lot of players just going in there for minutes. What do you make of that?
I've got to be honest, I'm not a fan of that. The under-23s are for players under the age of 23. They are for development. I think they like putting. I mean, I like Tyler Roberts, and he is under the age of 23, so that's fair enough. But playing players like Jack Harrison in there, Samuel Saiz in there,
and then Jack Harrison, Jack Clark, they played quite amount of minutes. Quite a lot of minutes on Monday, and then one on the bench on Tuesday. Jack Clark came on for the entire second half on Tuesday after playing 90 minutes the day before. It's like, I don't get it. There's a chance there in the 23s for other youth team players to play. It is quite competitive in the 23s. Whatever way you look at it. So it's a chance for more youth players to step up there and develop more players instead of playing the first team players. And I understand you've got to give players minutes, keep them happy. But if you're a first team player and you're saying, all right, we're going to go play under 23s today in some park against another team, it's like you can't do them their confidence any good. I feel as though the under 23s is for players coming back from injury, and then players who are going to be punished for attitude problems or whatever. We haven't had that this season. But
is it a good precedent to set the under 23s as looking like a punishment though?
I think for first team players, yes, but for players who are like who are in there, maybe not. But I'd much rather prefer just see more under 23s than first team players play for the under 23s.
Yeah, it's the point of the league is to develop players to eventually break into the first team squad. So you don't want to be filling it full of first team players who were already in the first team squad, because you're just limiting chances for potential talent.
Yeah, and the players who you want to give more minutes, give them the cup games. Stick them out in the cup games. That's what cup games are for, really, to give players more chance for minutes.
The FA Cup's coming up soon, in January, so we should be getting the I think we're coming in the third round. So
yeah, I kind of want a decent cup run. I'm not saying I really want us to win the FA Cup, but just a decent run, go 2-3 rounds in.
I always like a cup run, but then you think of it like it's just...
You want to focus on the league.
It's just more games. It's players getting more tired for the league games. The league's more important.
Yeah.
I'd like to go out at a reasonable stage, having played one...
4th, 5th round or something.
Yeah, something like that.
And played a big Premier League team.
Yeah, an established Premier League team.
And see where we are as well. If we play against a big Premier League team, see where we are, and because we know if we get promoted, we know where we stand with other teams in the league. But
I think we played in the EFL Cup last year. We played Leicester and Burnley, and we got knocked out against Leicester. But those were some good sides to play. We knocked Burnley out, which is satisfying after they raided our squad.
But I mean, that's our thoughts on the U23s. I think personally, you bringing players back from injury and getting match fit.
Yeah,
great.
No problem with that.
I understand, first team players, wanting to give them minutes and keeping them match fit. But they've got training. Just play games in training.
Well, you think of it, how small our first team squad is, and how much bigger. It's a squad like Derby, where they've got over 30 players or something.
Yeah.
You don't see their players complaining about like a game time, but there must be every week. There's kind of 19 of them not getting in the squad.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's whatever Bielsa likes and whatever works for him. But that's the under-23s. Good win for them. The youth system is strong as ever. But let's move on to the Australia tour next summer of 2019. Leeds, of course, announcing on late Sunday night, their second fixture in the Australia tour, and that's against the Western Sydney Wanderers. And it's a big game for Western Sydney Wanderers. That's going to be played on the 20th of July, by the way. That's a Saturday.
Got a big
but it's going to be the first football game at the Western Sydney Stadium.
Yes, it's recently built.
Yeah, so it's a big game for them. Big part of their history.
They're christening, really, as a club. And it's a big stadium, and they'll probably be well up for it. I've seen some Leeds fans from Sydney saying it's the club I support versus the club that's now in my hometown.
Yeah.
So it must be great for them fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's great for the fans who live out in Australia, to see the club that they support. But, it'd be great for the players as well. It'd be a great experience playing in some massive stadiums, massive arenas.
Yeah.
And I love that we're playing, a team, it's their first football game. It will be part of their history. When they look back on, what's the first game to be played at our new stadium? It was against Leeds United, so we're going to be part of their history.
That'll be a pub quiz question at some point.
That will be a pub quiz. We didn't go Australia in a few years and see rock up in a pub quiz and see if that's one of the questions. But yeah, I think it's great. We're helping them out. We're gonna, not only will they give us exposure in Australia, but we'll give them exposure as well. Over in England, and more people look at that. Again for the fans, and as well, revenue. Give us a bit more money as well. But the game that will give us more money in Australia next year is the Man United game. That's going to be played at the Optus Stadium in Perth on Wednesday, the 17th of July 2019. That's a decent sized game.
It's probably one of the biggest pre-season fixtures I've ever seen.
I mean, this is shaping up to be one of the best pre-seasons. You look at the past few years. We played non-league teams, local teams from in England. And last season we played against Forest Green Rovers, but now we're playing against Man United. How it's changed there.
We played Guiseley and Ossett.
Remember the Myanmar trip as well? Beats the Myanmar trip.
There's so many reasons why the Myanmar trip was a bad idea.
There's so many reasons why this the Australia tour is such a good idea and why it's shaping up to be one of the biggest yet. But Man United, if Jose Mourinho's still in charge as well, that'll be the first time Jose Mourinho's come up against Leeds United. Unless we get him in the FA Cup, of course.
Manchester United haven't played Leeds in 5 years. 6 years. 2012, I think, was the last time we played them.
2011.
Was it 2011?
Yeah, it was. October 2011. They beat us 3-0 at Elland Road in the League Cup.
Yep.
I think it was 2 goals from Ryan Giggs and a goal from Michael Owen.
Ryan Giggs.
And then a goal from Michael Owen. And that game as well, Paul Pogba made his debut.
Ryan Giggs probably the least popular man at his family Christmas dinner.
Oh, dear. But yeah, so I mean, a big game there. I know a few people who aren't really in favour because they want it to be, first time we play Man United for ages. They want it to be either in a cup or in the league, but just a pointless friendly. But it's not a pointless friendly.
No,
it's in a big stadium in a fantastic country in Australia. One of the first times, if we don't get him in the FA Cup and Jose Mourinho's still in charge of Man United, first time he's played us. It's a big rivalry as well, and again for fans who live out in Australia to see a big game, Leeds United versus Man United, a massive game, a massive fixture that is, and not the revenue, money that we get off that would be massive, but also the exposure as well. From that, it'd be incredible, and it'd be televised. I'm imagining, it'd probably be televised all over the world. Leeds versus Man United.
It'll be on Sky definitely. I'm looking forward. I don't think it's people saying it's pointless funny. I don't agree with that. I think it sets us. If any game you want to christen a new season, it's that game. You want it to set you up,
test you properly. Forest Green Rovers isn't going to test you. A game against Man United is going to test you.
Yeah, even if they're in poor form, even if they don't play the strongest team. I remember a couple of seasons ago when we played Liverpool at Anfield in the Cup. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And Roof banged that shot off the far post when we were at 0-0. And I, to this day, I think if that had gone in, we'd have probably won that game because we played really well in that game.
Yeah, we did. But I think it's shaping up to be a good one. Games announced excite me. It is exciting, and it is an Australia tour, of course. So a lot more games to be announced. I wonder where we're going to go next. Melbourne, do you think it will be announced? Melbourne. There's Adelaide.
It's a big country. They'll get their way around it.
I'm sure that we'll go to Melbourne.
I really hope we.
That's a big place.
Isn't Australia Club trying to sign Usain Bolt? How amazing would it be if Leeds played against Usain Bolt in a pre-season friendly?
It'd be incredible. But I mean, honestly, an incredible pre-season tour, one of the best in a few years. But now let's preview the Sheffield United game on Saturday. It's a 12:30 kickoff live on Sky Sports. It's at Bramall Lane, and it's going to be a tough game, isn't it?
It is. It's always a tough game at Bramall Lane because they were probably this, apart from Sheffield Wednesday, they're their least favourite club. But they're always up for it. They're fast paced. They attack. They love coming down the wings, and they've got someone in Oliver Norwood who Leeds tried to sign over the summer. I think they got him for 1.5 million. He's a cracking player. Yeah. He really is the maestro of that team.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching the Sheffield derby the other week, and Sheffield United were just so good, like so much better than Sheffield Wednesday. I'm surprised that they didn't win, but they are impressing me this season. One
good thing in our favour though is they've I think it's two wins in 6 for them, so they're not on the best run. They did admittedly win on Tuesday, but that was wasn't a great defensive performance. I know they won it 3-2, and there was a couple of own goals, one each for the sides. So there's weaknesses to be exposed if we're willing to be more aggressive than we currently are being, especially at the start of games, because they start games strong. They always do. Yeah. I'm sure Chris Wilder says in the changing room before they go out, all right, lads, hit them with everything you've got. We're going to score a 3rd-minute goal, and then we're because that's what they always seem to do at Leeds. Yeah, and it's always Billy Sharp as well.
I think it'll be much better. I can see this game going a few different ways. First of all, Sheffield United going into the game, they drew 2-2 away at Rotherham at the weekend, but they won 3-2 away to Brentford on Tuesday. They're in 4th, 2 points behind us, so it is a big game. But I'd take a point right now. But I can see this game going one or two ways. First of all, I think the way Sheffield United play will play into our hands. I think we play better against teams who come at you a bit more. Teams who sit back and frustrate you, they do frustrate us. And then, we push too many men forward. They go on for counter-attack and we don't have many men back. But I think, it's going to be a wide-open game on Saturday. And I can see it's going a few ways. It's either going to be, a 0-0 draw or 1-0 draw. I really don't think we'll lose. It's either going to be a draw or we're going to thrash them 3-4-0.
I don't think we're going to thrash them 3-4-0. I think it's going to be one apiece. I could see it being Roof scoring and Billy Sharp. Oh, God.
Billy Sharp scoring a minute and a half like he did in both games against us last season.
I told you, it's what they always do. And one of them was a cracking finish, though.
Yeah, but we need to start strong. We were saying it earlier, slow starts, fed up of slow starts. But Sheffield United starts so quickly, so we need to be careful at the start of the game.
Want to be on it.
But I don't think we'll lose. I think we'll lose.
If we can, if I was Bielsa, I would tell the lads, keep it tight for 15 minutes. Don't let them in. and grow into it, because if you start slowly, they'll rip you to shreds.
Yeah.
And you keep it tight, give them nothing for 15 minutes, let the frustration start setting a little bit in the first half, then hit them. And it might be worth doing what teams do against us, which is a little bit of counter-attacking with Jack Clark on with a bit of pace, run right up the other end if they're putting a bit of pressure on us. That could be the plan.
Yeah. Does Jack Clark start for you?
He does.
I think he goes same system, 4-1-4-1. If Pontus is back, Pontus goes straight in. Phillips goes for holding midfielder, and then you've got Click and Forshaw, maybe even Zaiz. He maybe start. I don't think he will. I don't think he's a starter yet. I think he is a bit unfit this season, but I'm saying that. But I think he'll go same system. But I think I want Jack Clark to start on the right, Pablo on the left, and go inverted wingers from the get-go, and just start like that. Does Jack Clark start for you?
He does. He's just... Alioski has been really poor in recent games, and the game on Tuesday was an example of that. Yeah, 16 touches and 7 passes in 45 minutes, including a shameless dive.
Yeah, and he missed a good chance towards the end of the first half as well. When ball came in, he jumped up for it, but then got scared at ball, turned away, hit his back, and it went wide. So
if he heads that, that's probably a goal.
But Bielsa just seems to like Alioski at the moment.
He does. The thing is, for Alioski, he's difficult to drop because he always does put a shift in, and he is up and down all the time. But is that worth the loss of creativity on one of the wings? I don't think it's worth it. Yeah. I think, again, Sheffield United, we could maybe use his battling a bit, but I think if we get some more creativity when we are on the front foot, I think we'll punish him more with Jack Clark than with Alioski. Yeah,
so Jack Clark starts for me. I'll of course predict the lineup in the match preview ahead of that game that'll go out on the YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. We got 3 points. I said it in the match preview for the Reading game. If we get 3 points, we can afford to drop points, which is going to be likely because it is a tough game. But we've got QPR at home and Bolton away the next 2 after that, so you'd expect 6 points from those two.
Especially QPR, I think home games we've been very strong. We're the strongest side in the division at home. Yeah. That's a fact. We've picked up more points than anybody else. Even Norwich haven't picked up as many points as we have at home. Yeah. We've lost 1 game and only a couple of draws, so we are good at home. You'd expect us to beat QPR. Bolton away is a game you'd expect us to win, but it's always tougher. These sides lower down the league, when they're at home, they're like some straight teams. They do put up a good fight. So that'll be interesting to see. But I think if we're on foot, if we do what we know we can do, I think that'll be 6 points. Yeah,
you would expect 6 points from that. There's never needs a game championship, but you would expect 6 points from those 2 games after the Sheffield United game, where I think, I'd take a point, and I feel as though we can afford to drop points. And if it is a draw, they don't go above us. We can't lose though if we want to stay up.
No, because they'll overtake us, and that can't be done. If we do happen to pick up 3 points, which is a possibility of the weekend, if we do pick up 3 points, that sets us up fantastically for the next few games, because it means that if Norwich drop more points, then we go top of the league. But at the very minimum, we're keeping pressure on them. Yeah, and then we go into a favourable run of fixtures, with the exception of Villa, which is going to be tough.
Yeah. Well, finally, score prediction for Saturday. Yeah, I think you said it early, but
I think I'm going to go 1-1.
1-0. No, I'll go same. I'll go 1-0. I'll stay safe and 1-0. But it'll be very, very interesting. And make sure to watch out for the match preview. But that brings us to the end of the podcast. Thank you very much, Charles, for joining me.
Thanks for having me on.
Going to be trying to do this every week. Yeah. Me and you combined. We've filled up the time. Good, I can see it. We're over an hour, so we filled up the time very, very well. Looking back at games and previewing games. So make sure to follow and like and share. Do whatever you can for this podcast, and hopefully by the next one we'll be on iTunes as well. Of course, we need to start on SoundCloud, and then iTunes can review it. So hopefully we move on to that. If you haven't heard of All Things Leeds, there is a YouTube channel, so make sure you go subscribe. It is called All Things Leeds, and I'll be doing a match report for the Reading game on the channel, doing a match preview for the Sheffield United game this weekend. So make sure you look out for all of them videos, match reports, and etc, etc. Make sure you follow across all social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and that'll be very, very much appreciated. Same time again next week, Charles.
Same time again.
Yeah. Right. Brilliant. And so thank you very much for listening. Make sure to follow and share, whatever you can do. Like I've already said, help us out. help us out, please. Let's get this podcast rolling. But yeah, thank you very much for listening, and we will see you later on.